Kung may totoo lang baski isa, I will hang myself in front of you. Sampalin ko siya sa publiko.
Hindi, wala naman.
Hindi, ngayon na.
Wala pong ganunan.
Chairman.
I'll give you no. Sasampalin ko sa
Chairman.
Session suspended.
Sabi
According po kay former Senator Trillanes, sinabi po niya na piki ang war on drugs nung panahong administrasyon ni former President Duterte. May I ask to former Senator, bakit po niyo sinabi na piki ang war on drugs?
Ang statement po na yon na peke po ang war on drugs ni Duterte noong nakarang administrasyon. Ito po ay bunga nung nakalap namin na impormasyon at ebidensya nung kami ay nag-iimbestiga nila Senator Laila de Lima at dun sa aming sariling pagkalap na impormasyon at base na rin dito po sa testimonya, Mr. Chairman, ni Arturo Las Cañas sa ICC na naisumite niya at nagkaroon na rin ng kopya dito po sa Quadcom at doon sa kanyang video. Sinabi niya po na ginagamit lang ang war on drugs ni Duterte para takutin ang sambayan ng Pilipino at takutin ang iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan para hindi siya paghinalaan dun sa kanyang sariling involvement sa illegal drugs. Kaya nga siya na-mention po na siya ang Lord of all drug lords. Ito po ay sinabi niya na mga kasabwat ni Duterte ay sina Michael Yang, Charlie Tan, Sammy Uy. At ito po si Michael Yang ay ayon mismo sa report ni Colonel Acerto na dating Deputy Director of the Drug Enforcement Group of the Philippine National Police. Sinumite niya yung report tungkol sa involvement ni Michael Yang. Dito naman po, dun sa sinasabi niyo po, Mr. Chairman, na si Jimmy Guba na Customs Intelligence Police, sinasabi niya na si Michael Yang ang involved doon sa magnetic lifters na shipment. Ngayon po, lahat po yan ay nakalap namin. Pero ngayon po, kung dahil po doon, tinignan namin kung ano yung ebidensya na pwede naming malink ito. Kaya nga po, binalikan namin yung mga bank accounts na nakalap namin kay Duterte noong 2016. Tinitignan namin kung merong mga pumasok na pagkapirahan dito po sa kanya. At doon nga po kami nakakita na mga deposito sa mga accounts ni Duterte galing po dito po sa grupo ng mga drug lords na ito. At kung papayagan po, Your Honor, meron po akong PowerPoint presentation para po makita po nila kung ano yung sinasabi ko na money trail, paper trail dito po sa drug proceeds ni Mr. Duterte and his family.
How many minutes will be your presentation?
Ano lang po yan? 5 slides lang po ito, pero I will focus on the last slide lang ho. So ito po yung mga bank accounts na nakalap ko po ito noong 2016. Tapos ito po ay na-validate na ng ombudsman na kaparehas nga nung naisumite ng AMLAC sa kanila. Kaya ano po tayo, kumpiyansa po tayo sa provenance nitong dokumentong ito. So, sige po, next slide. Ito po yung mga iba't ibang mga pumasok na pagkapirahan kay accounts ni Duterte. Sige po, next slide. Yan. So, ang total po ng mga credits na pumasok ay 2.4 billion. No? Ngayon, kung ano talaga yung actual total, malalaman po natin yan pagka binuksan po yung accounts. Ngayon po ito, no? Ang pagkakamali po ni Mr. Duterte nung nagtatago siya ng pagkapirahan ay ginawa niyang joint account yung kanyang anak na si Vice President Sara Duterte. Kaya ito po ay alam po naman natin na exempted sa bank secrecy law ang impeachment. So lalabas po yan lahat. Kay Vice President Sara, meron po kay Duterte, meron po kay Baste Duterte, meron kay Pulong Duterte, at meron po kay Hanilet Abansenya. Ito pong mga ito ay mga managers checks under their name na ang origin po ng account ay yung isa dun sa mga drug lords na minention ni Las Cañas na si Sammy Uy. Ito po, ano ito? Siguro noong mga panahon na yan, 2011 to 2013, medyo kumpiyansa sila sa kanilang mga gawain, kaya may physical na checks, no? Pero after that, ang mga deposito diretso na sa account, so wala nang paper trail. Pero makikita natin dito yung pattern po, Mr. Chairman. Nagdidibidendo yung drug lord doon sa pamilya nila Duterte tuwing October at April, no? Kaya sunod-sunod po yan. And by the way, makikita po natin si Vice President Sara, meron po siyang 2 checking in-encash dyan under her name, manager's checks. Tapos ito po ay while she was mayor, no? Kaya yan ay direct bribery, no? Tapos proceeds of the illegal drug trade. Ito po ang naging pruweba natin. Kaya nung cross match po namin yung dokumento na kuha namin at dito sa mga personalidad na minention po ni Arturo Las Cañas, na-confirm namin yung kanyang istorya. Nakita niyo po dyan, si Duterte, pareha sila ng amount na in-encash, no? Tapos, itong mga anak, sila Baste Duterte, ayan po, tagte 10 million every 6 months. Kay Pulong Duterte, meron din. Ngayon po, lahat ito ay hawak yan ng mga bangko mismo. Meron silang physical copy, meron silang soft copy netong mga sinasabi na ito. Kaya hindi po yan pwedeng i-deny lang kasi alam naman natin yung mga estilo ni Duterte, mag-a-admit konti pero magde-deny to confuse everyone. Pero ito po yung smoking gun, Mr. Chairman. So, yan po, we concluded na peke talaga ito. Ginagawa niya yung war on drugs para proteksyonan niya yung sindikato niya na sina Michael Yang, Sammy Uy at Charlie Tan. So, kaya po nung sa Davao pa lang pinapatay po nila yung kompetensya. Tapos nung sila na ang presidente, ginawa nilang National Death Squad, yung nangyari. Tapos si Leonardo nga po yung ginawa niyang point person. Tapos yung drug list na sinasabi ni Duterte, merong legitimate mga personalities doon, galing doon sa mga iba't ibang ahensya. Pero pag may kailangan silang isingit na mga kalaban nila sa drug business, sinisingit po nila doon. Kaya nga may mga tinutumba na mga involved din sa illegal drugs kasi kompetensya nila yon sa distribution. Kaya yan po lahat na yan ay napagtagpi-tagpi namin. So, kaya that would explain kung bakit protektado si Michael Yang kahit na may report itong si Colonel Acerto. Tapos hindi lang po yan, nung nilabas po yung report na yon, sa sobrang pagproteksyon nila kay Michael Yang, yung mismong gumawa ng investigasyon, yun yung gustong ipapatay at sinampahan ng kaliwat kanang kaso. Kaya makita natin, dun sa mga mga drug lord na hindi kasabwat sa sindikato ni Duterte, ano siya, porsigido siyang patayin, pero doon sa kanilang grupo, itong mga ito na mention, Michael Yang, Charlie Tan at Sammy Oy, protektado hanggang ngayon. Ni nga si yung PDEA director ni Duterte na si Wilkins Villanueva, ni hindi nga masama sa drug list hanggang after noong 2022 si Michael Yang. Yun po ang dahilan kasi biniling po sa kanya yan ni Duterte. Salamat po.
Pero kung totoong drug smuggling mo na sila, they should be prosecuted in court. And if convicted, they should serve sentence in jail. Hindi talaga, hindi ko pipigilan yan. Kung anak ko, kung totoo. Ngayon, yung na-reason dito ni ko kilala itong taong to, forgot his name. Your Honor, if there is an iota of truth, ayuta lang, baski konti lang, you can find out, may nilagay sa ng record. Now, I'm willing to execute an affidavit or kayo na lang to summon the banks or pursuant to my waiver. Kung may totoo lang baski isa, I will hang myself in front of you. You can summon, I will sign a waiver. All banks. Pati yung World Bank ng Amerika. Kung may isang totoo lang, giting, I will resign and I will ask my daughter to resign and everybody in the family. That is my guarantee. And I will hang myself.
May I ask this former senator, how did you acquire these documents, bank documents?
Nung campaign po noong 2016, meron pong nag-abot sa aming opisina na ang pangalan po niya ay Joseph De Mesa, in-identify niya. So sinabi niya, meron siyang mga dokumento na pwede namin tignan. So, kampanya po yon, hindi po namin nabigyan ng atensyon until siguro a few weeks after, nakita ko po, yun pong nandoon, iba't ibang accounts. Then, chinek namin, binalidate po namin kung totoo yun, no? So, may mga nagdeposito po na doon sa iba't ibang accounts ni Duterte, tapos, totoo nga, legitimate po. Then, nung kampanya, nilabas ko po ito at inamin mismo ni Duterte na totoo daw kasi una, dinideny po nung kanyang spokesman, but eventually, nung na-corner na siya, inamin niya. No? Tapos, hinamon din niya po kami na magbibigay din siya ng waiver. It's the very same dare na sinasabi niya ngayon, o bluff na sinasabi niya. At ano po, ako po ay nagpakita doon sa BPI branch na yon sa Julia Vargas, pero siya po hindi sumipot. Ang sumipot sa kanya, itong si Panelo. Ngayon si Panelo, wala pong dalang waiver. Ang nilabas niya, special power of attorney na may specific conditions. Ngayon po, natapos na lahat yung kampanya, presidente na siya, ni ay ni Oy, wala na po nangyari doon. Kaya ito po, inadmit niya na yan, mga dokumento na yan. Inadmit niya na yan, no? And let me just comment a bit, Mr. Chairman. Kasi yung sinasabi niya, in relation dun sa case na final ko kay Pulong tsaka kay Manscarpio, sabi niya, i-file daw sa korte at harapin nila. Pero yung mga libo-libong mga pinagpapatay never got that privilege of the due process. Pagka wala ka sa grupo niya, hindi ka sa sindikato niya, protektado ka, kailangan mag-file sa korte. Pero pagkakaribal ka at ordinaryong Pilipino ka, tutumba ka. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman.
But with regards to how authentic is the bank documents being presented to us by former Senator Trillanes, we must ask the AMLA. Unless Senator Trillanes can present to us another document that that bank records came from an authentic, competent agency of government, Mr. Chairman. In this case, it's the AMLA. And the former President has, a while ago, has a commitment to waive his right with regards to all the bank accounts that was mentioned by as former Senator Trillanes. Now, Mr. Chairman, pwede naman parallel yan. AMLAC, at the same time, yung waiver, if the former president will sign a waiver with regards to all those bank accounts.
I will sign the document tomorrow and I will hand it kasi magagawin pa ng abogado. But I said, if there is an iota of totoo yung sinasabi, I will hang myself in your presence. I will invite you all to be a witness.
First, Mr. President, lahat po na tinanong ko po sa inyo ay galing po yan kay Mr. Jimmy Guban. Given na po na na-acquit si former Senator Laila de Lima sa mga kaso niya tungkol sa drugs, as now, Mr. President, naniniwala pa rin po ba kayo na si former Senator de Lima ay queen of all drugs lords?
Sir, I go by what is the reality of the day. Pag sinabi ng korte, inosente si de Lima, inosente si de Lima. Wala tayong magawa dyan. Kung magsabi ang korte, guilty si Duterte, wala rin kayong magawa dyan. That's a democratic process.
Ibig sabihin po,
Wala.
nagkamali tayo ng pag-akusa kay former Senator de Lima. Ang na-acquit po si si Senator de Lima at sinasabi po ni former President na kung ano ang hatol ng batas ay 10 ang masusunod. Ibig sabihin, nagkamali po ba ang ating dating Pangulo sa pag-akusa kay former Senator de Lima na siya ay isa sa mga queen ng drug lord?
Sir, saan mo narinig yan? Bigyan mo ako ng kopya. Saan mo narinig yan? A recording or a newspaper? Nalilito na ako kung anong sabihin ko. Pero sabi ko kung if I'm lying or if my statements are falsely stated, or if there is an iota of magbigti ako. So, in the same manner na kung magbigti ako si Trillanes, dapat magsabay rin sa akin.
Okay, duly noted of your thoughts, Mr. President. Former Senator Trillanes, you're recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Ito pong dokumentong ito po yung naging basis ko nung plunder case na final ko kay Duterte noong 2016. At ito po ay inimbestigahan ng Ombudsman at ang Deputy Ombudsman Arthur Carandang, and I think the Quadcom can invite him. Siya ang nag-conduct ng investigation. Humingi siya ng dokumento sa AMLAC at kinonfirm niya. And because of that, tinanggal ni Duterte si Deputy Ombudsman. Now, aside from that, so pwede natin, suggested by Chairman Paduano, na yung AMLAC mismo, unless, since hindi naman na siya incumbent, ay pwedeng ma-access yun with the waiver. Pero we've been there before. Nagsabi na yan siya na magbibigay siya ng waiver. Puro bluff yan. Pero hindi, kaya nga mas maganda kung ma-draft na po natin yan ngayon para papirmahan niya yan dito, no? Para wala nang alibay. Pero ito po, I'll be presenting later on, Mr. Chairman, a video of his actual admission of these accounts. No? So, ito naman pong mga cheque na in-encash, in-extract lang namin from that long list. Mga managers checks po yan, hindi nawawala sa system po yan. And later on, exempted sa impeachment cases, kaya pwede po lumabas yan, ipepresenta po yan. That's the smoking gun ng proceeds of the illegal drug trade ng Duterte crime family.
Will the former president be okay that if we draft the waiver now, that it be signed today instead of tomorrow? Will you be fine with that, Mr. President?
Anong kapalit, sir?
Hindi.
Sampalin ko sa publiko.
Hindi. Wala naman.
Hindi, ngayon na.
Wala pong ganunan.
Mr. Chairman.
I'll give you sasampalin ko sa
Mr. Chairman.
Session suspended.
sabi
Please observe proper decorum. We are in a committee hearing. We have already stressed from the very beginning that the proper rules, decorum, will be implemented regardless of who you are. Regardless of who you are. We live by a set of rules in this committee, and those set of rules will be followed, and those set of rules will be implemented.
If I may.
Wait, session, it's still suspended. It's still suspended. The hearing is now resumed.
Chairman?
Yes,
Chair.
SDS.
Mr. Chair, may
Mr. Chairman, may I move,
with
Wait,
priority.
former
Mr. Chairman.
President,
I just
Yeah.
would like to apologize for the unbecoming behavior. Init sa ulo lang yun.
thank you very much for your apology. It is accepted, and I hope that the others beside you would also observe proper decorum. So, but thank you very much for your apology. SDS and
Mr. Chairman, may I move to strike off the word sampal on our record?
There's a motion to strike off the word sampal in the records. Any second to that? Second, any objection? There being none. Comcheck, you're duly instructed to please strike out that word.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secondly, hindi po basketball ito. Yung mga meron ng nag-aaway, yung mga players, kalmante lang po sana. Hindi na maulit yun. Salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair. Just a
Congressman Adyong, I'll just give Attorney Degra a minute. I think he's been raising his hand.
Yes.
But before I recognize you, Attorney, can you kindly turn off the mic of the former president para lang hindi tayo nag-aagawan dito ng... Yes, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the outset, I'm here among the resource persons because I was invited to be one of the resource persons, mainly, as mentioned earlier, as an item in the administrative matter to explain the circumstances of the two letters that we sent to the Quadcom on behalf of the President. So I am also not only a resource person here, but also acting as the legal counsel of the former President. That said, we have reviewed the agenda item for the 11th joint public hearing. And I hope we will be able to put things in context insofar as how the proceedings have gone through until now. And I noticed that insofar as what has been going on for the last 9 hours, this would only be limited to item 4, 5, and 6 in relation to the alleged extrajudicial killing in the Philippine campaign against illegal drugs during the previous administration. That said, Mr. Chair, we would like to be clarified because this is a legislative inquiry in aid of legislation. May we know what proposed legislation is being set on the table for the committee to consider and for the resource person to contribute their valuable inputs, if any, so that we can avoid incidents like what we just saw earlier, so
Yeah.
that it will be meaningful, intelligent, accurate, and hopefully not accusatory in character.
Yeah,
So that it will be positive
Yes.
and, as I've said, meaningful discussion, so that we'll be able to come up with effective legislations, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Actually, with regards to your point, Attorney Degra, 2, or if not I'm mistaken, 3 bills have already been filed with regards to the Quadcom hearing. Isa po dyan, may kinalaman sa forfeiture of illegally acquired properties, 1. Number 2, may kinalaman po sa EJK. At saka yung pangatlo po, may kinalaman po sa heinous crime. So, these investigations being conducted by the Quadcom has actually brought about a lot of legislation already. Other than that, our members are also looking into amendments of existing laws so that we can strengthen the institutions and the agencies by which the government operate in. Other than that, mapapansin po natin just very recently, naglabas po ang administrasyong ng ating Pangulo ng EO para sa implementation ng total ban sa Pogo. So, with that being said, Attorney Degra, Congressman Adjong,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just like to ask Senator De Lima, are you comfortable in your seat, Senator? Because earlier, when there was a small incident commotion, I saw you froze for a bit. Are you comfortable in your seat? We can transfer you if you want.
I'm not comfortable, but I can stay here.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just concerned with our.
I'm not afraid at all.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm not.
you.
Yes. I'm just saying that for a little bit, I think you froze.
Salamat
And-
po. Salamat.
Just concerned.
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator.
Congressman
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Chairman Benny.
I cannot help but say this, no. I'm a little bit insulted by the statement of Attorney Delgra. You know, is he trying to question this committee on the pieces of legislation that we are trying to prepare? Mr. Chair, I'd like to find out because it seems to me, Mr. Chair, that he does not actually believe in what we're trying to do. Now, Mr. Chair, Attorney Delgra, my committee, the Human Rights, have at least 5 bills that ought to be filed. And it is not our duty to tell you what those bills are, Mr. Chair.
Earlier, Attorney Degra called the attention of the committee about proposed legislation and what legislative act Quad has done or intends to do. I have here, Attorney Degra, 8 pages. If you want, I can read each legislation to you. House Bill 10986, House Bill 10987, House Bill 110843. All of these are new proposed measures. We have policy recommendations as well. For extrajudicial killings, we have policy recommendations as well, totaling to 8 when it comes to the issue of illegal drugs. We have proposed amendments for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 existing laws. We also have proposed legislation to repeal and revoke certain laws that are not anymore needed at this time, and possible enactments of other laws. I will give you a copy of this, Attorney Degra, just so that, any of you, or actually there's more here in the back, if any of you have any questions about the intent of Quad and why we are doing this, and questioning if there are legislation that will be pushed after, during even the hearings, COMSEC, kindly forward this to Attorney Egl. And also, Attorney Degra, for your information, the chairmen serve as the principal authors to these House bills. With that being said, I just have a policy question. Kanina pa po, Mr. President, na babanggit tong pag bumunot, barilin. Tama po ba yun? Oh. Hindi po ba pwede, Mr. President, yung i-disable na lang kaysa patayin? Yung bang barilin na muna sa paa, sa braso. Bakit kailangan patayin?
Pag bumunot yung tao na yung kriminal sa harap mo, or even if not a criminal, nakalasing lang, pagka bumunot yung baril siya, papunta yung baril sa direksyon mo, you are in... Sige lang kayo, sira ng plato dyan, maubusan tayo dito. Ano mo, sir, pagka nakatutok yan sa katawan mo, sir, that's the end of you.
Okay. No, I'm just curious.
Self-defense.
Yes. Thank you very much, former President. To Chel Jokno, Attorney Chel Jokno, meron po bang handbook or paano po ba dapat ginagawa ito? Di ba dapat maximum tolerance ang ini-implement?
Yes, Mr. Chair. It's very clear both in the PNP manuals as well as the UN regulations that the use of lethal force is only to be done as a last resort. Klarong-klaro po yan, paulit-ulit yan nakikita sa both sa PNP manuals at sa United Nations guidelines.
Thank you very much. Senator De Lima?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, for allowing me to make an intervention. I just wish to comment on 3 points tackled during the questioning of the Honorable Congressman Adjong and also the responses of the resource person, the former mayor, former president, to those questions. Number 1 is about the limited period of detention. So ang sabi po ng dating mayor, dating pangulo, under current realities, medyo hindi na ho ito sapat. So he is proposing amendment of the pertinent laws, particularly the revised penal code. Let me remind everybody po na hindi lang po ang batas ang kailangan nating i-amend. Kasi nandyan mismo yan sa saligang batas sa konstitusyon. Yung maximum period of 72 days as detention. Nandyan po yan. That's the maximum allowable period. Kaya yung tungkol nga po dun sa Anti-Terrorism Act, isa po sa naging issue, na ganun nga ho, na yung 24 days of detention na nakalagay dun sa Anti-Terrorism Act, hindi po tumutugma. And in fact, sobra dun sa sinasabing period of detention na pwede, but after that, dapat i-charge nyo na, hindi tumutugma doon sa provision of the Constitution. So kailangan ho natin, hindi lang batas, kung yun ho ang magiging posisyon ng Kongreso, ay dapat kailangan din i-amend ang Constitution. Pero syempre, hindi lang basta-basta dahil gustong i-amend, pag-isipan po ng husto yan. Kailangan mabalanse. What should be the exact position na talagang balanse na while upholding state interest in combating crime, palagi natin pong dapat rin irespeto ang mga individual rights in the Bill of Rights. Second point, yung tungkol po sa study na nabanggit po ni Honorable Adjong. So it says that Davao City is among the safest. Let me point out po na yung study na yon, kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, crowdsourcing po yan. So it's not necessarily reliable, it's not scientific. Ang alam kong study na reliable and scientific, although nakalimutan ko na po kung anong eksaktong study yon, I can search my materials, I can review my materials, yung sinasabi na yung Davao City ay number 1 ang sa murder, sa incidence of murder. At tumutugma po yan, consistent po yan, nung palaging sinasabi na pinapatay na lang kasi ang mga kriminal. Kaya, highest murder, but can you call that a safe city? Kasi yung murder, labag sa batas. Pwede bang safe ang isang lipunan kung basta na lang mga pinapatay na wala, na hindi dumadaan sa rule of law at wala nga tayong batas ngayon na kumikilala sa death penalty. So how can it be a safe city? Number 3, death penalty. Lagi po akong aalma kapag meron nagpro-propose ng death penalty. Pagkatapos naman kung mga anong insidente dahil nagkaroon ng mga high-profile heinous crimes, some would again propose death penalty. Kaya nga po yung sinasabi na yung sinabi kong listahan kanina ni Honorable Suarez, I actually support all of those. The policy recommendations, saka yung mga proposed bills, including the anti-EJK bill. I fully support those, except the one reimposing or seeking to restudy death penalty and eventually reimpose. Why? Number 1, alalahanin ho natin, baka nakakalimutan po natin na meron pong linagdaan ang Pilipinas na sinatawag na Second Optional Protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Nung pinirmahan ho natin yung Second Optional Protocol, we committed as a state party never to reimpose or restore death penalty. Nag-commit po tayo doon, nanumpa tayo na hindi na natin maiisip na i-reimpose ang death penalty. Now, isa pang rason kung bakit hindi ko talaga, never akong magsasang-ayon sa death penalty. yung ating resource person, the former mayor, the former president, kasasabi lang po niya, yung justice system natin, insufficient, weak, inefficient, flawed. May mga diferensya pa ang ating criminal justice system. So kung ganon, dapat ayusin muna natin yung criminal justice system. Kasi pag ganyan na flawed, sigurado ako na magkakamali. May mga pagkakataon na magkakamali ang korte na mag-impose ng death penalty. Yung mga bansa nga, yung mga ibang jurisdictions na medyo advanced na yung kanilang criminal justice system, nagkakamali pa rin. There are really recorded, documented cases of erroneous convictions and erroneous executions. So tayo pa kaya? Na tayo na mismo ang nagsasabi, kulang pa, inefficient pa, flawed pa, weak ang ating justice system? And then lastly, marami na pong mga studies na ang death penalty is never a deterrent to the commission of crimes. So ano magiging silbi nun? Tama na lang po yung ang i-impose kapag mga hinos, mga malalaking kaso, mga murder cases o mga drug cases na mga malalaki, tama na lang pong reklusyon perpetua. Basta dumaan sa tamang proseso. Basta maayos ang justice system na mabilis ang takbo ng mga kaso at mapanagot sila ng tama. So for those reasons, Your Honors, Mr. Chair, I register, as always, my position against any plan to reimpose death penalty. Maraming salamat po.
Make it short, please. Former Senator Trillanes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. With all due respect to Congressman Adjong, but he's working on the assumption that seryoso, honest to goodness yung war on drugs. As we found out and as what I presented a while ago, everything is a ruse. Lahat po yon ay pagpapanggap lang. Kaya nga hindi niya masagot yung mga justifications dahil drama lang nila yon. It's just a form of social control, matakot lahat, and it was very effective. Sinampulan si Senator De Lima, pinakulong na walang na-fabricated charges, kaya wala na, kumaga umatras na lahat. So it was all about that, pero titignan nyo what happened after. Yung grupo niya, yung sindikato niya, sila Michael Yang, sila Pulong, Charlie Tan, started importing illegal drugs through the front door sa customs. Pero ang ginawa nila nung una, a few months nung start ng administration niya, binabasag nila yung mga shabu laboratory everywhere with the projection na seryoso sila sa illegal drugs, pero mga kompetensya nila yon, yung local shabu manufacturers. So nung na-abolish na nila lahat, in-import na nila through the front door. Ngayon, magkano ang presyo nung shabu at that time nung kanila tumaas. So yung cartel nila ang nakinabang nung monopolization ng drug war. Kaya nga sa galit niya kunyari sa pagpe-pretend niya ng galit siya sa illegal drugs, pero nung in-import yung 11 billion na shabu, yung 6.4 billion na shabu, then a few others na in-import, meron bang sinabihan si Duterte na kung sino yung drug lord behind it? Wala po. Tapos ito po yan. Sino po yung Customs Commissioner na nung time na yon? Si Faeldon sa 6.4, si La Peña nung 11 billion. 'Di ba? Pinadaan sa customs. Kung talagang galit na galit ka at hindi mo kasabwat yung nagpasok na yon, you should have hung these people kung talagang ganun siya magsalita eh. Pero anong ginawa po niya? Pre-promote niya. No? Pre-promote niya po ito. Prinoteksyonan niya kasi mga kasindikato niya. Then, here comes si Peter Lim, who was identified as one of the drug lords. Pero same triad nila Michael Yang, kaya hindi nila mapatay, pinaalis na lang. No? Kunyari, nung nape-pressure, finailan po ng kaso, pero anong ginawa ho? Dinismiss. Despite the evidence. Tapos anong ginawa ho dun sa prosecutor na nag-dismiss? Pre-promote na judge. We have documented all this. Kaya we followed yung sequence ho. Kaya hindi kami mabobola ng mga ganyang parang seryoso. At Kaya ho maraming nalilito na parang talagang gusto niyang ayusin lang talaga yung illegal drugs. Pero hindi.
Former Senator Trillanes, yes.
Yes.
Can you just...
just one more point, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, yeah.
Ito na lang po.
We're
Then,
going
Mr. Chairman,
off
if I may-
tangent from
yes.
our discussion.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Fernandez.
Para to save time, no,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can we have the documents that na sinasabi mo a while ago? So, para lang po makuha namin yung lahat ng points
Yes,
that you have mentioned.
I already submitted to the COMSEC yung
When was this?
just today, yung nung
Okay.
present po.
Alright, thank you.
Kon po, yun po, as challenged earlier by Chairman Paduano, na pwede pong imbitahin yung AMLAC, but as I understand, hindi po exempted yung legislative inquiry because sinubukan na po namin yan. Pero exempted ang impeachment. So lalabas po yan eventually din. Pero yung ombudsman po, when they investigated this, they asked the AMLAC, kasi meron silang MOA ng exchange of information, nakuha nila yung mga dokumento na yon, kaya nga po na-validate yung aming mga dokumento, at ang magpapatotoo po nito yung tinanggal sa pwesto na si Deputy Ombudsman Arthur Carandang. You can also invite him. Pero ito po yan. Nakita nyo po kanina nung sinabi ni Chairman Suarez na kung pwede siyang pumirma, ano hong ginawa niya, nang gulo siya, no? Pero baka pwedeng ibalik natin doon sa issue na pipirma siya ng waiver. O baka ngayon, nagtutulog-tulugan naman ho. So, pwede po natin papirmahin ng waiver pa rin.
Yeah, Senator Trillanes, we'll get to that item later. So I gave you your chance to speak, and I will now recognize Congressman Sindanya. Yes, Congressman Sindanya. Thank you.
May I interrupt?
Mr. Chairman.
Just one moment. I was not sleeping. I was praying
I hope
for his soul.
I hope I was included in your prayers, former President
Nagdarasal
Duterte.
po ako. Hindi ako nagtutulog.
Okay. Yes, Chairman Paduano.
Mr. Chairman, since former Senator Trillanes has mentioned about the authenticity of such, and he mentioned the name of former Deputy Ombudsman Carandang. So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we will invite former Deputy Ombudsman Carandang on the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, ang na-file ko na case laban kay Duterte ay tatlong plunder cases. Yung una, tungkol doon sa mga ghost employees at mga confidential funds niya sa Davao. Tapos pangalawa, yung frigate scam na 16 billion na kung saan ang binigay nila ng mga equipment ay yung mga segunda klase, whereas doon sa kontrata mga primera klase yung nakalagay. Tapos pangatlo, yung 6.6 billion pesos na infrastructure projects na binigay ni Duterte at ni Bongo doon sa tatay at kapatid ni Bongo, starting nung mayor siya until nagpresidente siya. Then, may final din ako na illegal drug smuggling case laban kay Pulong Duterte, kay Man Scarpio, kay Charlie Tan, Nicanor Faildon, Allen Capuyan, at iba pa. Ito yung tungkol sa 6.4 billion peso shabu na hinayaan lang nung presidenteng galit daw sa illegal na droga, pero ang mga kinasuhan lang yung mga maliliit na players at na-spare yung mga drug lords.
Mr. Chair, pwede ho ba malaman kay former Senator Trillanes kung saan nyo po i-final yung mga kasong ito?
Final ko po sa DOJ itong illegal drug trading case. Yun pong unang plunder case na ito nga, which included the illegal ill-gotten wealth of Duterte, sa ano po yun, sa ombudsman. Then, yung dalawang plunder ay nandoon din po sa DOJ na file. Apo.
Mr. Chair, I am more particular on the case that you just have recently filed.
Yes.
the 6.4 million shabu, and that was filed before the Department of Justice, correct?
Opo, yes, Mr.
And
Chairman.
may we know, Mr. Chair, what is the status of this case pending before the DOJ?
Ngayon po, nasa case build-up stage siya. Pero ano po ito, no? Open and shut case ito dahil yung ibang involved dito na akusado ay actually na-convict. So they will just be using the same set of evidence. Pero this time, it will include ito na mga ibang mga personalities na hindi nasama dun sa unang kaso, Mr. Chairman.
And aside from
Mr. Chair,
Congressman,
may I interrupt? If this is an open and shut case, why is there a build-up until now?
Dahil
Nagmamakawa ako sa Diyos na i-file na. Dispense with the investigation, file the case in court.
darating po tayo dyan, Mr. Chairman.
Hindi
Pero ito po, no? Buti nga yung anak niya na drug lord at saka yung ano niya son-in-law
That
ay
would be,
ano,
I take exception to that statement, Mr. Chair.
Please,
It is not fair. and
it's my
it is a
opinion.
mischievous
It's my opinion. Ikaw nga pinapapatay mo yung mga suspected.
session suspended.
Wala ka na. Ano?
Sani. Sani. Huwag kang mag-arte rito ng ganyan. You do not
Please avoid calling names. We can conduct this hearing professionally and calmly. So avoid calling names para hindi po tayo magkaroon ng sakitan. Hearing is resumed. Congressman Mugalon.
Mr. Chair, may I continue with my interpellations? Mr. Chair, with regard to this case filed and pending before the Department of Justice, I just would like to ask the complainant, former Senator Trillanes, I think it is safe to assume that before you filed the case, you conducted your research. Would that be correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Doon pa lang sa Senado, nag-imbestiga na po kami. At lahat po ng nakalap namin na informasyon doon, plus yung mga ginamit ng prosecution sa paglilitis ng kaso, yun po ang included. At maliwanag po yun, no? Yun namang pagka-label ko po ng drug lord. That is my assessment po, Mr. Chairman. With all due respect dun sa mga members ng committee, there is no other skirting around the fact. Kasi po, nung sila, maliwanag po dun sa testigo, yung testimonya ng testigo, kinokontrol ang gatekeepers at that time ng mga kontrabando ay si Mans Carpio at si Pulong Duterte. At nakalagay po yon on record sa Senate investigations at doon sa court hearings. Then, ito nga po, no? Hindi sila sinama nung final sa kaso by some miracle, ang in-include lang yung mga minor players. Ngayon, yun nga po yung sinasabi ko simulat sa pool, kasi po kung talagang seryoso tayo dun sa paglilinis ng ating bayan ng illegal drugs, dapat hahanapin mo yung mastermind. Sino yung pinakang drug lord na nag-import nito? At yun nga po, ang natumbok namin, si Pulong Duterte. In fact, nung Senate hearing, sinabi ko nga na miyembro ng triad si Pulong at yung proof nun ay yung dragon tattoo sa likod niya, which is the mark of a triad member. And I challenged him. Sabi ko kung pwede siyang ipakita ron. At kahit na dun lang siya sa isang secluded room at makuha ng sergeant at arms, edi either mapoprove or disapprove. Kung prove or disprove. At doon nga po, tinanggihan niya. No? It was an opportunity to show the whole country na hindi lang inosente siya, na kundi mali yung aking mga impormasyon. So natumbok na namin yun noon, pero nung final yung kaso, tinanggal po yung anak, si Pulong. Opo.
To continue, Mr. Chair.
You have last 2 minutes, Congressman Bungalon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just wrap up my questions. To continue, you conducted a Senate investigation in 2017. And what was the outcome of that investigation?
Yun nga po, no? Dahil na whitewash po nung mga panahon na yon, kasi yung chairman ng committee noon ay kaalyado nito ni Duterte, kaya wala pong nahantungan. Tapos nung final po sa DOJ yon, yung kaso na yon, dahil nakatingin na po yung buong Pilipinas eh. At nakuha talaga yung 6.4 billion shabu, so kailangan po may mananagot. Pero ang mga nanagot ay yung mga nasa ibaba lang. Ni nga pangalan lang nung drug lord na nasa likod ng importation na yon, ni hindi po minimension nung mga PIDEA or nito ni Duterte para lang pakita no kung sino yung nasa likod noon. Kaso he was not interested precisely because kagrupo niya. Isa na doon yung anak niya. Yun po yun.
Mr. Chair, a while ago you mentioned the name of Michael Yang.
Yes.
Is he a respondent to this case?
Doon po yan sa Jimmy Guban case. Dalawa po kasi, no? Yung 11 billion na yung shabu shipment na yon. At sabi ni Jimmy Guban, base doon sa testimonya niya dito, doon po involved si Michael Yang, Pulong again, and Manscarpio. Pero doon po, dito sa 6.4 billion peso shabu, ang lumabas po si Charlie Tan, ang drug lord associate na kasama nila. And lahat po to lumabas po dun sa testimonya ni Arturo Las Cañas. These are the names: Michael Yang, Sammy Uy, at Charlie Tan. Sila po yung mga kakagrupo ng drug lords na kapartner at pinoproteksyonan ni Duterte.
For my last question, Mr. Chair, you also mentioned a while ago the word triad.
Yes.
Ano ho ba itong triad nito at ano ang partisipasyon nitong triad nito sa sinasabi niyo pong 6.4 million na shabu at yun yung basis nyo ng pag-file ng kaso laban ho sa mga respondents dito sa kasong ito?
Base po sa testimonya ni Las Cañas, miyembro po ng triad si Charlie Tan at Michael Yang at ni-recruit nila si Pulong. So yun po ang triad. Ito po yung mga grupo na involved sa mga illegal activities na based sa mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau.